Fortunate to be out in Allyn last week for the EDC's Choose Mason event, and it was at a beautiful locale, the Port of Allyn. And Executive Director out there, Lary Coppola, is in studio with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here with us to talk a little bit about the Port of Allyn. First things first, talk to me about the size of the Port of Allyn. I know that the commissioners are Scott Cooper, Gene Farmer, and Judy Scott. So how much does that encompass of the Allyn area for the port?
Well, most people think that the port just basically goes from Sherwood Creek Road to the Y in Allyn, and it actually is quite a bit larger. It goes from about a mile north of Grapeview, goes east to the Mason-Pierce County line, north to the Mason-Kitsap County line, and west down along the canal to Effendall Pass Road, and on the south shore down to Tawana Falls.
That is a very large area.
It's much larger than most people think.
Isn't that amazing? Let's see.
I'm looking at the pictures right now.
Portofallyn.com is a good website for seeing some of this stuff. So there was a time when Allyn was the commercial center in North Mason. The port formed back in 21, and it was the hub back there, and it's a beautiful facility. So yeah, I think you're right. When most people think of the Port of Allyn, they think of maybe just the dock there or the gazebo, which are very beautiful, and we'll talk about in a second. But what are some of the ways that the Port of Allyn is able to do its business, the economic business in that area?
Well, we own a small marina on the North Shore of Hood Canal, and we own a boat launch on the North Shore of Hood Canal, and both of those are revenue generators for the port. We also have the gazebo there, and it's a very popular wedding venue. We have a park just south of the main park in Allyn, the kayak park, and we're converting it into a smaller wedding venue for more intimate type weddings. Where
nice.
A lot of people, they don't want to rent the gazebo in the park because they're only going to have 20 people.
Sure.
Well, the kayak park is perfect for that.
You know, on a clear day, last Wednesday, we still had a lot of that haze in the air. But on a clear day down there at the Port of Allyn, you can see for miles up and down the waterways.
Oh,
it
yes.
is beautiful.
Oh, yes. Beautiful there.
It is beautiful.
How far is the dock, the pier out there?
It's 200 feet long.
Okay.
Wow.
And most people don't realize that either. And one project that we're working on right now, there's a floating dock at the end of that pier, and we're converting it into a full-service marina.
So boats are able to come in, moor up, and then spend some time in Allyn.
Right. Currently, there's no water or power on that dock, and that's what we're going to be doing, is bringing water and power to the end of the dock out there.
Oh, nice.
Should be able to accommodate boats up to about 50 feet.
What kind of benefit do you see or are you aware of that would come from allowing these boats to come in?
Well, the main job of a port district is economic development.
Sure.
And what this will do, it'll bring people with big boats into town, and people will come to town and spend their money.
There you go.
That's economic development.
There you go.
That's what it's all about.
The Allyn Community Association did a study about 10 years ago that found if there was a full-service marina there, it would bring about $375,000 annually in new revenue.
Wow.
And that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
Sure.
So it, just the value of the dollar makes it a lot more than that now. So that'd be good for local businesses as well as create some jobs. And that's our job.
You know, when you moor up there and walk the 200 feet down the pier, you're really able to access all of most all of what Allyn has to offer, the various restaurants that are there, and there's unique tourist attractions, of course, as well. And you were telling me another project in the works is a oyster.
Right, the Oyster House. The Sergeant Oyster House is the last historic oyster shed type building, and it was moved to the Port of Allyn about 5 years ago to be restored. The Allyn, or the North Bay Historical Society, is doing the restoration. They just got a $160,000 grant to work on that.
Nice.
the former person in my job, Bonnie Knight, is the person who wrote the grant and has spearheaded the program for the North Bay Historical Society. And so we've got that project going on. It's going to move to where the old launch ramp was.
Okay.
So the launch ramp is going to come out, and a foundation will be built for the Oyster House. Right now they're in the process of shoring up the basic foundation of the building. Once that's done, then it can be moved.
So is this going to be a restaurant, a museum?
It's going to be a museum.
Okay.
It's going to be
very cool.
And it'd be one more tourist attraction for Allyn.
Yeah.
Like you said, everything in Allyn is within walking distance of the port, so people can come. That'd just be one more thing for them to do.
Lots of great opportunities, and the port online is at portofallyn.com. How closely do you work with the other ports in the county and then across the state?
Well, you know, I'm very active in the Washington Public Ports Association, as is the Port of Shelton.
Mm-hmm.
So we work pretty closely with them. And here in Mason County, they have something that's fairly unique, and that is all of the administrators of all of the groups, the fire districts and the chambers and the ports and Olympic College, Public Works Department for the county. Once a month, we all get together. No elected officials are allowed.
Nice.
Well, that way everybody.
Meeting, then.
You're right.
Yeah, it's kind of like Las Vegas. What's said here stays here.
Right. Good.
But that way, everybody, there's a free exchange of ideas, and nobody is unafraid to say what's on their mind.
Sure.
Good.
And but there's a lot of good information that gets shared. And how it started, the Economic Development Council originated this, and they are the facilitators of this. But at one point, the PUD was going to open up a ditch for something, and a month later, the city of Shelton was going to reopen that ditch. Well, having those conversations, we learned who's doing what.
Sure.
That's
And-
important too.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody's
And-
going in the same direction.
And it saves
Yeah.
it saves the taxpayers money, and it's just a more efficient way to get stuff done. But like I said, with no elected officials here, we can all speak frankly.
Right.
Very nice.
Oh, that's
And
great.
speaking of elected officials, one thing you had mentioned, Jean Farmer being a commissioner at the Port of Allyn, she resigned when she moved out of the district.
That's
And
right. I remember that.
Ted Jackson was elected to her position last November.
That's right.
Oh,
I do
okay.
remember that. Thank you
Very
for that
nice.
correction. portofallyn.com here. And so some great changes and upgrades coming to the Port District in short order. What's the time? You guys have any time frames on the new docks? I know there's
Well,
lots of
I wanted
permitting
it
when you're
done
on the
now,
water.
by
Sure.
now, but it's actually going to take us longer to permit the project than it's going to take to actually do it.
All right.
But
Oh, that's not good.
well,
It's
such
all
as,
the paperwork.
such as government.
Such as
you know.
government.
Right.
That is right. Well, we'll keep this space open and keep our eyes on great work being
Well,
done.
lucky for you two to work somewhere like that. It's just beautiful, gorgeous out there.
You know, I have to say, this is the best job I've ever had.
Nice.
I spent
that.
28 years in the news business myself. I was the publisher of the Kitsap Peninsula Business Journal.
Okay.
And in 2014, the E.W. Scripps Company made me an unsolicited offer to buy it. Well, I think in this day and age, if you own a newspaper and somebody wants to buy it from you,
Yeah.
you'd be a fool not to sell it.
Sure.
Right? You got it.
But at that point, I didn't have anything to do. I still owned my business. My wife publishes the West Sound Home and Garden magazine.
Oh.
But I didn't really have anything to do. So I'm like, what am I going to do?
Got a little bored, didn't you?
And my wife said, how about getting a job?
about you get a job?
J-O-B,
I got an
baby.
idea.
So here I am.
Yeah,
Very
what
nice.
a great job you have. It's gorgeous over there.
Larry, good to talk with you, and keep us updated on any of the good business coming out of the Port of Allyn.
I'm happy to do that.
Very
I
nice.
appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks.